On the 15th of May, in the jungle of Nool, in the heat of the day, in the cool of the pool, he was splashing, enjoying the jungle's great joys, and Horton, the elephant, heard a small noise.
I say,
murmured Horton.
I've never heard tell of a small speck of dust that is able to yell. So you know what I think? Why, I think there must be someone on top of that small speck of dust. Some sort of creature, very small size, too small to be seen by an elephant's eyes. Some poor person shaking with fear that he'll blow in the pool. He has nowhere to steer. I'll just have to save him, because, after all, a person's a person, no matter how small.
So gently and using the greatest of care, the elephant stretched his great trunk through the air and lifted the dust speck and carried it over and placed it down soft on a very soft clover.
Humph!
Humphed the voice. It was the sour kangaroo. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said,
Humph!
too.
Why, that speck is as small as the head of a pin. A person on that there never has been.
Believe me,
said Horton.
I tell you sincerely, my ears are quite keen and I hear them quite clearly. I know there's a person down there, and what's more, quite likely there's two, even three, even four. Quite likely a family for all that we know, a family with children just starting to grow. So please, as a favor to me, try not to disturb them, just please let them be.
I think you're a fool,
laughed the sour kangaroo, and the young kangaroo in her pouch said,
Me too.
and the kangaroos plunged in the cool of the pool.
What terrible splashing!
The elephant frowned.
I can't let my very small persons get drowned. I've got to protect them. I'm bigger than they.
So he plucked up the clover and hustled away. Through the high jungle, the news quickly spread.
Ooh, he talks to a dust speck. He's out of his head.
Just look at him walk with that speck on the flower.
And Horton walked worrying almost an hour.
Should I put this speck down? If I do, these small persons may come to great harm. I can't put it down, and I won't. After all, a person's a person, no matter how small.
Then Horton stopped walking. The speck voice was talking. The voice was so faint he could just barely hear it.
Speak up, please,
said Horton. He put his ear near it.
My friend, you're a very fine friend. You've helped all us folks on this dust speck no end. You saved all our houses, our ceilings and floors. You've saved all our churches and grocery stores.
You mean?
Horton gasped.
You have buildings there too?
Oh, yes, we certainly do. Oh, I know I'm too small to be seen, but I am mayor of a town that is friendly and clean. Our buildings to you would seem terribly small, but to us who aren't big, they are wonderfully tall. My town is called Whoville, for I am a Who, and we Whos are all thankful and grateful to you.
And Horton called back to the mayor of the town.
You're safe now. I won't let you down.
But just as he spoke to the mayor of the speck, the big jungle monkey climbed up Horton's neck. The Wickersham brothers came shouting.
What rot! The elephant's talking to who's who are not. They don't have a mayor. And are going to stop all this nonsense, so there!
They snatched Horton's clover. They carried it off to a black-bottomed eagle named Vladikov. And they said,
Will you kindly get rid of this thing?
And before the elephant could speak, the eagle flew off with the flower in her beak. All that late afternoon and far into the night, that black-bottomed bird flapped her wings in fast flight, while Horton chased after with groans over stones that tattered his toenails and battered his bones, and begged,
Please don't harm my little folks who have as much right to live as us bigger folks do.
but far, far beyond him that eagle kept flapping, and over her shoulder called back,
Quit your yapping! I'll fly the night through. I'm a bird, I don't mind it. And I'll hide this tomorrow where you never find it. Ha-ha!
and at 6:56 the next morning she did it. It sure was a terrible place that she hid it. She let that small clover drop somewhere inside a great patch of clovers 100 miles wide.
I'm that. Oh, but I think you will fail.
And she left with a flip of her black-bottomed tail.
I'll find it or bust. I shall find my friends on my small speck of dust.
And clover by clover by clover with care, he picked up and searched and called.
Are you there?
But clover by clover by clover he found that the one he sought for just wasn't around. And by noon poor old Horton, more dead than alive, had picked, searched and piled up 9,005. Then on through the day, hour after hour, till he found them at last on the 3 millionth flower.
My friends, tell me, do tell. Are you safe? Are you sound? Are you whole? Are you well?
From down on the speck came the voice of the mayor.
We've really had trouble, much more than our share. When that black-bottomed birdie let go and we dropped, we landed so hard that all our clocks have stopped. Our teapots are broken, our rocking chairs smashed, and our bicycle tires all blew up when we crashed. So Horton, please, will you stick by us who's while we're making repairs?
Of course I will stick. I'll stick by you small folks through tin and through tick.
For almost 2 days you've run wild and insisted on chatting with persons who've never existed. Such carrying on in our peaceable jungle, we've had quite enough of your bellowing bungle, and I'm here to state
Snapped the big kangaroo.
that your silly nonsensical game is all through.
And the young kangaroo in her pouch said,
Me too! With the help of the Wickersham's brothers and dozens of Wickersham's uncles and cousins and Wickersham's in-laws who've helped I've engaged, you're going to be roped and you're going to be caged. As for your dust speck, ha! That we shall boil in a hot water steaming kettle of beesnut oil.
Boil it? Oh, that you can't do. It's all full of persons. They'll prove it to you. Mr. Mayor, you've got to prove now that you really are there. So call a big meeting, get everyone out, make every who holler, make every who shout, make every who scream. If you don't, every who is going to end up in beezelnut stew.
and down on the dust speck, the scared little mayor quick called a big meeting in Whoville town square. And his people cried loudly, they cried out in fear.
We are here, we are here, we are here.
The elephant smiled.
That was clear as a bell. You kangaroos surely heard that very well.
All I heard was the breeze and the faint sound of breeze through the far distant trees. I heard no small voices, and you didn't either.
And the young kangaroo in her pouch said,
Me neither.
Grab him and cage the big dope. Lasso his stomach with 10 miles of rope. Tie the knots tight so he'll never shake loose. Then dunk the dumb speck in the beetle nut juice.
Horton fought back with great vigour and vim, but the Wickersham gang were too many for him. They beat him, they mauled him, they started to haul him into a cage, but he managed to call to the mayor.
Don't give up. I believe in you all. A person's a person, no matter how small. And your very small persons will not have to die if you make yourselves heard now. Come on and try.
The mayor grabbed the tom-tom. He started to smack it, and all over Whoville they whooped up a racket. They rattled tin kettles, they beat on brass pans, on garbage pail tops, on cranberry cans. They blew on bazookas and blasted great toots, on clarinets, oompas and boompas and flutes. Great gusts of loud racket rang high through the air. They rattled and shook the whole sky, and the mayor called up through the howling mad hullabaloo.
Hey Horton, how's this? Is our sound coming through?
And Horton called back,
I can hear you just fine, but the kangaroo's ears aren't as strong quite as mine. They don't hear a thing. Are you sure your boys are doing their best? Are all the girls making noise? Are you sure every who down in Whoville is working? Quick, look through your town. Is anyone shirking?
through the town rushed the mayor, from the east to the west, but everyone seemed to be doing their best. Everyone seemed to be yapping or yipping. Everyone seemed to be beeping or pipping. But it wasn't enough, all this ruckus and roar. He had to find someone to help him make more. He raced through each building. He searched floor to floor. And just as he felt he was getting nowhere and almost about to give up in despair, he suddenly burst through a door, and that mayor discovered one shirker quite hidden away in the Fairfax apartments, apartment 12J. A very small shirker named Jojo was standing and bouncing a yo-yo, not making a sound, not a yip, not a chirp, and the mayor rushed inside and grabbed the young twerp, and he climbed with the kid up the Eiffelberg Tower.
This is your town's darkest hour, the time for all whose who have blood that is red to come to the aid of their country,
He said.
We've got to make noise in greater amounts, so open your mouth, for every voice counts.
Thus he spoke as he climbed. When they got to the top, the kids cleared their throat and they shouted out,
Yup!
and that yop, that one small extra yop put it over. Finally, at last, from that speck on the clover, their voices were heard. They rang out clear and clean, and the elephant smiled.
Do you see what I mean? They've proved they are persons, no matter how small, and our whole world was saved by the smallest of all.
How true. Yes, how true. And from now on, you'll know what I'll do. From now on, I'll protect them with you.
And the young kangaroo in her pouch said,
Me too. From sun in the summer, from rain when it's fallish, I'm going to protect them no matter how smallish.
So the staff and volunteers of LINC wanted to put something together to acknowledge the little people in our community, and just recognise that we're doing a lot online for the grown-ups, but that the younger people can't necessarily come on Zoom. So we thought maybe Dr. Seuss was a good place to start. So we hope that you enjoyed Horton Hears a Who by LINC staff and volunteers, and let us know what you think.